that hat.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, folks. We are heading into round 8 of day 1 of UK Nationals 2023, live from Leeds National Armories.
Yeah.
Trip, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. 8 games. I'm saying the guys out there, I think 7 games is what it takes to get me going, you know? But I'm feeling good now. Got a 6 game warm up. That 7th game, real good, real tasty. 0 breaks today. I mean, we did have a little bit of a break. Actually, I've had 0 break because I did the segment with Baz and I did the segment with you.
You
I've
haven't left
gone.
that seat.
I've just been
You've
going.
been sat there
This
all
is where
day.
I live now. This is my seat. This is who I am. This is where I belong. Is sat here in front of this microphone talking to you about Flesh and Blood. And what a game we got coming up to you right now. We got Prism Chain. Prism Chain.
Prism Chain. And the the chain player, we have Rob Catton back on the stream after he appeared on round 5 on the stream today.
Yeah, sadly he was not able to keep the last deck that he'd grafted for Chain, which was insane.
Absolutely nuts.
But I'm sure he's got a pretty spicy one regardless. And we're seeing now up against Paul Crane on Prism. I don't think we've actually seen a Prism Chain game yet today, so really cool to see this getting played out. Looks like Prism is in the driving seat going first.
Rob rinsed through the a Prism in a Prism matchup round 5.
Well,
we saw him. He put on the gas. Put on
Sean
the gas.
remembers. Just where we got Sean around to basically just say to me, no,
that's why I'm
incorrect.
Here.
That is
You're
not
wrong,
the case.
sir.
We have had that game. Please correct yourself before you wreck yourself. But we're just seeing a very tame opening here with a nice Stony Wooden Hog for 4. I'm just going to block this one out. Kind of get a bit of a rejig of his hand. Just getting rid of some cards he doesn't want to be seeing.
Now, I have a bit of an insight on Paul Crame's actual sideboard here, that's available. Paul was one of the very lucky people to have pulled a cold foil Vestige of Soul. He's decided not to use it.
Not to play it. Decided not to play the cold foil Vestige of Soul. Turns out Ironhide play better than Vestige of Soul.
You heard it
officially.
here first, folks.
So Rob's starting with a Soul Shackle. So we just saw a chain game. We saw Nathan playing quite a conservative, quite a temperate, slow chain game, just like not shackling too much. And the last time we saw Rob on the stream, he was shackling like his life depended on it, and it looks like he's going to come back in again with opening up with a shackle into the Galaxy Black. It's going to be 1 with Go again. If it hits, deal 1 arcane damage. Pitching the blue to do so.
Pitching the blue. Now, if I recall correctly then, that 5th round game between Rob and Osama, Rob just kept on going with the Soul Shackles. He was not afraid to chain every round, and he was aiming for about 5, wasn't he, before he could really... That's when he really put his foot on the gas.
Yeah, he did get. It was that point where it just got too much for Prism, but he was doing so much with the one, hitting things off the 1 shackle, the 2 shackle, making it happen, just putting on so much pressure with those early big hands that he was getting through the access to the draft. They are in this Monarch format. You can actually play your cold foils. I was just chatting with the head judge James. So for Monarch draft, because the cold foils are not in the token slot, they are playable because in back in the day, first edition Monarch, all the legendaries are cold foil. So that actually would be you wouldn't be able to play any of the legendaries because they only come in cold foil. They are playable in Monarch draft, so you could actually play that Vestige if you wanted to. Coming in with Spears, we didn't really get to see much from the last Prism, but Spears are a really nice card in Monarch draft. The 1 cost 5 Go again. It is a common as well, but it does have Phantasm, so at risk of being popped. Again, in the last game, Sean, we saw that Rob often had the popper when he needed it. Pop, as you said at the time, doesn't look like he's got it this time.
Doesn't like he's got the pop this time.
And also, Paul does have the Dreamweavers on the side there. If he does want to secure a hit, remove that Phantasm from one of these cards so he can make sure that Rob does not get through with a popper.
And then following up the Spears of Surreality with a little Herald of Ravages.
So Herald of Ravages, if this hits, not only does it go to Soul, it will also deal 1 arcane damage to Rob. So this is actually coming in essentially for 8, and the threat of more damage from what that future Spectral Shield can do, because Prism takes that card in Soul, makes it into a Spectral Shield, uses a weapon to hit you at it with the 4 attack.
Yeah, Paul's saying here that you're not the only one who can present arcane damage here. Rob really thinking about this one.
Yeah, this game has not got off to the start that his previous one did when I believe his Prism opponent basically passed their turn because
And that was it for the rest of the game.
didn't have anything to do.
Oh, that was basically it.
And yeah, Rob was just able to take control. But in this occasion, Paul being able to force a big block here, but being able to use that Ether Iron Weave to as Sean was saying earlier with the hooves, essentially prevent 2 damage by preventing the arcane damage from hitting and also preventing the card from going to soul. Really want to keep Prism starved of soul if you can. Once they start to be able to create spectral shields, it is tough.
Paul having to think here. And grip of 4 cards.
If anyone is if anyone's interested, originally James said that you should take the cold foils out of the packs. So if you thought that was the case, even the head judge thought that was the case for a little bit. But the room quickly corrected him, as you probably we did hear the murmurings of I'm not sure that's the case, James, but it was quickly corrected. Quickly corrected by the crowd. Very much like you guys in the chat, the players in the room do let the judges know if they've made a mistake.
As you would expect.
As you would want to see, and would you want to expect.
Don't expect anything less.
I was just saying to one of the judges, I feel like today we've had some incredibly clean games of Flesh and Blood. I think the most we've seen is like one missed embodiment. We saw a judge come over to deal with that, but everything else...
Even then, it wasn't really missed.
It wasn't really missed. Both players knew about it. They just wanted to get the judge to clarify it, that it was fine to bring it back onto the field. And I've been really impressed with the quality of play, and I think just it shows a scene, it shows a Flesh and Blood scene where people have been playing this game for a long time. They know their heroes really well, and they feel really comfortable playing them, really comfortable with the rules, and it leads to really great games for you guys to be able to watch with minimal mistakes. Because we don't want to see mistakes in the game. We want to see games played properly and played right.
And played clean.
Played clean.
Keep it clean, boys.
So what we're seeing here is just a Vexing Malice 2 and 2. It's like a Rosetta, but it's a card. Rob just trying to push for a bit of arcane damage here, just trying to get Paul down a little bit low. This was the top pod Fab Chaos. So actually, this was the pod where every hero had 2 players that picked it.
2.
So there was 2 Chains, 2 Bolton, 2 Prism, and 2 Levia. So this Prism player as well as one of 2 Prisms. So a really evenly split pod.
So Paul here, looking to charge the soul. Plays an Illuminate.
Sean, it's not a charge.
Charge, I keep saying, as if it's...
That's a distinct game mechanic. Can't just throw these words out willy-nilly.
That's what Bolton does. Thank you for correcting me.
Yeah,
that's exactly what we were just talking about.
When I'm charging down the road, I do not say that I'm putting myself down the road. I am charging. Yeah, it's a distinct action. And we do again see Rob decide to respect this. Again, trying to starve Prism of Soul. Again, Rob's taking this relatively slow too, just trying to set stuff up to see that red bounding Demagon pitched, hoping that that's going to come up again later in the game because the game is being a little bit slower than the last one he has.
So 2 shackles here resolved. So loses his Minnoism, but is presented with a Rifting.
Yeah, Rifted Torment are a nice one to play when you've got the resources to afford it. It's a really good card to combo into like Galaxy Black, to like Rifted Torment into Galaxy Black off of blue if you can. Oh, we do see an Invert Existence.
Spicy.
That's going to be something that comes up later, going to be doing 2 arcane damage at instant speed. And now Paul needs to think about what cards he puts in his grave, because to do that, you do need to banish, I think it is a non-attack and an attack action from the grave. So if the Prism players only got attack actions, they're fine, but I'm not sure what they played already. They're probably going to play a little bit of both. So that Invert Existence will probably get value later on in the game.
And value outside of the game. We're talking about first edition Monarch here, and that's a rainbow foil. Majestic.
Yeah, but it's all about the wins. That's what you want. Win a game. Worth pointing out that Dreamweavers also has Spell Void. So we talked earlier about how there being a really limited number of pieces of equipment that can prevent arcane damage. Dreamweavers is one of them. That's actually that's a bit of a mistake. Is Rob going to let him take it back? Because actually Rob has only banished 2 cards this game. So that's actually only going to block for 2. Going to throw down another card, but Rob's probably happy about that. Probably more happy that he's now got a second card out of the Prism there.
Coming in for 3.
Paul probably looking at Rob's number of Soul Shackles, thinking he's banished 3 this turn, but of course he made that Soul Shackle this turn, only banished 2 cards. Impenetrable Belief not getting the buff does require 3 cards to have been banished this turn to get the additional block.
So life total 16, 15. We've got 3 shackles on Rob's side. We've got no cards in Soul for Prism? Or is there one there? Oh, that's the Spectral Shield.
I think that was a really good turn for Rob. He probably feels like he didn't really do much that turn, but he managed to get 3 cards from Prism.
And he got another shackle.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
And
Paul
also,
asking the question here if he's got any poppers.
well, also, this is a really interesting play because he's got the blue. So if this War Tune Herald hits, it will go to Soul, and Paul will actually have the 2 resources to then immediately convert that into a Spectral Shield if he wishes to. So Rob does have to consider that. And also, it's just 7 damage.
1 for 7.
Yeah.
1 for 7. I mean, we've talked about it before as well, right? It's the same with Levia. Got 1 for 6, 1 for 7. It's all good. So earlier on in the day, Azuri in those CC rounds of the Swiss today as well, we saw quite frequently Death Touch and other cards 1 for 6. All just great value.
Rob going to eat this up. Going to see if Paul decides to make a Spectral Shield. He does, obviously wanting to use those 2 resources if he can. Oh no, he doesn't. He decides to not make the Spectral Shield, which is an interesting one, and might regret it here because if that Spectral Shield... might choose to make the Spectral Shield now to try and prevent any arcane damage to turn off this potential Rip Through Reality if that is presented. Does hit 3 off the top. What's that one in the middle, Sean? Is that a Bounding Demagon?
Bounding Demagon.
Hopefully Rob has got a non-attack here to actually enable this turn.
2 Bounding Demagons. No seeds. Unlike the first game, we saw Rob had a lot of Seeds of Agony.
If this card in Arsenal is not a non-attack, Rob might be a little bit stuffed here.
Ooh, that'll be... I mean, life total as well. Rob's on 8 now.
He could do something with this Crackle. That Paul might respond with a Spectral Shield to try and prevent the arcane. Oh, he doesn't have seeds in Arsenal.
There's the seeds.
Rob knows what he's doing, guys.
Yeah. He's not 6 on 1 for nothing, folks.
So Rob is quite incentivized to try and get some arcane damage through here so that Rip Through Reality will get go again. Worth remembering, Paul does have a Spectral Shield that he can create, and he does have a Dreamweavers with Smell Void with which to prevent arcane damage. Paul can see the Rip Through Reality. It's on the table. He knows that that's an option. Really incentivized to try and shut down this arcane damage. 1 from the Seeds and 1 from Arcanic Crackle. It's going to need 2 prevention sources to do that, though. Would have to give up both the card Insult, which will require a pitch, and would require giving it the Dreamweavers as well, which he might not want to do. It might even be a bit of a trap to do that. Maybe he doesn't even need to play around Rip Through Reality. No, I think he does, but it doesn't look like he's going to. Because now Rob has used his Soul Shackle to give the Arcanic Crackle go again, but hopefully he's going to be able to play this Rip and then into a Bounding Demagon 4 and 4.
Just going to pitch a blue here to block with the Iron Hide. He's got 2 floating in case he does want to utilize his soul to create this Spectral Shield here. So there's potential another block.
He does also have a card in hand that doesn't do anything. It doesn't block. He's got an aura, so needs to be really careful about that. Maybe he should have considered pitching the non-block to block with the Ironhide plate, but then of course doesn't enable the creation of the soul the Spectral Shield from the soul, not having enough resources to do that. So it's got a pretty awkward hand here for a big turn from Rob, and he's still got more to come at the end of this 4. Paul currently looking about 6 block in hand. I don't know exactly what the other 2 cards are, but it's definitely going to leak some damage here.
And we were talking in earlier rounds as well. These Rip Through the Realities really play into the strengths of Chain's, I guess, approach to matches like this in draft, right? There's so few ways in which you can block arcane damage that Rip Through Reality just regularly has go again.
And Paul could have done it. He could have used the Spell Void on his Dreamweavers and the Spectral Shield on Prism to basically shut down the arcane and then make sure the Rip doesn't get go again. I wonder what Rob would have done if it had played out that way. But here we are looking like Rob's going to leave himself with a Bounding Demagon in the Banish Zone, set himself up for the next turn. Going to want to
4 shackles now.
Going to want to either draw into a non-attack or banish 1 off the top on his next turn. Could have potentially Stubby Hammered this time. Would have hit 2 targets, the Bounding Demigod Red and the Arcanic Crackle, but I don't think it really needs to. It's only pushing 2 damage. Maybe Rob thinks that he can get more of that, especially that he knows that he's going to have a Bounding Demagon on the next turn.
Plus whatever else he's got in hand.
Yeah, he's kind of at the end of this chain here. Can't really give this Bounding Demagon go again. So he's probably just going to Arsenal pass here once Paul deals with this attack.
I guess Rob here really setting up for, like you say, setting up for a big round. He's got 4 shackles to resolve next round. He's got that Bounding Demagon already in the banished zone. He's got his Aether Ironweave. That armor's been used up.
So
He's also got the Stubby Hammers ready to pop off as well.
Yeah, so he is going to make the shield now and actually use it to prevent damage. I wonder if it would be better off just blocking, passing, and then making the shield and leaving yourself with a shield, because at least then he could keep that for the next turn, but maybe just wanted to use that there to prevent a bit of damage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably going to pitch the aura here to play the Herald, or he might choose to Arsenal something. No, he's got to put pressure on here.
Yeah, JK, sorry. So 3 CC games were played earlier this morning. So at the end of the stream, by all means, go back and watch those. They were all fantastic games. We saw some Fi, we saw some Lexi, some Briar, some fantastic matches. Then we've gone into 6 rounds of Monarch Draft. So this is the second of those drafts. So round 2 of the second draft at the moment, and then we've got 1 more after this, and then tomorrow we'll be kicking off the day with 3 CC games before cut to top 8.
So this Herald of Rebirth is going to hit, and then he's going to be able to put a Herald on the top of his deck. Maybe the War Tune, or the Triumph, or the Dominate, I guess. Rob's going to be on 6. No, he's going to go for the Ravages. Yeah, well, maybe I would have gone for the War Tune, but no, the
Ravages, is that the arcane damage?
Yeah, it's a bit. If it hits, it does an extra arcane. It's a big. If you can keep a yellow or a blue this turn.
Yeah.
Does hit one.
Hits one. Okay.
That's fine, honestly. Like, it's a 2 for 6 here.
It's lost the Minnowism.
Just needs to try and strip. Oh, and Paul has got a card in his hand that doesn't block with the. We've got 2 cards. He's got a Merciful. Gosh, he's got a lot of cards. He does have an Impenetrable Belief that is going to allow him to shut down a 4 power attack, because Rob has banished 4 cards this turn. Rob going to try and do something with this Dimensional Gateway.
Pitches 2.
And of course, the main thing about this Dimensional Gateway is it is a non-attack, which means that Rob is able to play the Bounding Demagon, and he is also going to banish this Rip Through Reality too.
So is it going to be looking for... Does this come in for arcane damage?
It does deal 1 arcane if you banish a... I think it's a Shadow Runeblade. I think it's if it's a Runeblade card, it deals 1 arcane damage. If it's a Shadow card, you can banish it. Obviously, Rip Through Reality is a Runeblade Shadow card, so you can do both. So Paul might need to use his Dreamweavers here to turn off that arcane, so this Rip Through Reality doesn't come in.
Why not both?
No, he's going to choose to make a Spectral Shield instead. But that is going to mean that now he...
Rip Through Reality. Won't have go again.
Won't have go again.
Unless there's another means of dealing arcane damage this round. Let's just see.
Depends what Rob's got in his... Okay. He's probably going to be able to use this Spew Shadow to search his banish zone. If he's got a Crackle, which he does, he can banish that and play it this turn. He can then use his Stubbies to get the buff. The Arcane is now going to come through. Does Paul decide to use the Dreamweavers here to prevent that 1 arcane? Does Dreamweavers have Spell Void? Am I losing my mind? Can we see Dreamweavers on the card view? Yeah, Spell Void 1. Okay, I thought I was talking out my ass for a second there, but it definitely does have Spell Void. So he can use this to prevent the arcane, to turn off the go again of Rip Through Reality. But
Thank you,
does
Baz,
it really matter? Because I guess it does, because he's already used his Shackle. If he can then go Rip Through Reality into the Bounding Demagon, that's a lot of damage. Yeah, he does use it, so okay, it does shut it down. It's still coming in for 5. Paul's got 3 cards, and 2 of them don't block. Oh no, he pitched to 1 of them, so he's got 3 cards, 1 of them doesn't block.
If we can hear it for Baz the Bard in the chat, please. Baz is bringing up the cards on the card viewer. He's been doing it all day. Want to hear some praise for Baz.
So Rob did have to use his resources there, which is something I don't know, sort of spew shadow to actually be able to play that out. I don't know if Rob's still got the Ether Iron Weave, of course, so can use that to play that piercing Shadow Vice at the end for 6 if he chooses to. Really interested to see what he's got in the arsenal. If he's got another card that could go over the top here, he could be looking at being able to go over the top of Paul, and Paul's going to have to be forced to be used 2 cards. This is going to get shut down by the Impenetrable Belief. He's still going to take 1 damage, though.
I mean, Rob's looking to make...
Paul really wants to keep these 2 cards so he can
Yeah.
swing back with that Ravages, but he's just
Yeah.
not going to be able to do so.
I mean, he could Arsenal, keep it for next round. But the... Oh, God, it's just rough at this stage, isn't it?
Decides not to pop the Ether Iron Weave here, which is interesting. I guess he just wants to keep that. It's going to take 2 damage from the Blood Debt. It's going to go down to 4, and then Paul is going to swing in with this Ravages, which Rob must know about. And that's going to be quite tricky for Rob to shut down because it's not just a 1-card block here. If he blocks for 3, he takes... oh, he has the popper. Has the popper. Pops that, and sort of
that's
now
what
the
we
Dream Weavers
saw.
has gone. Got a
That's what we saw in
perfect
round
draw
5
into
as
that as
well.
well, and just had the confidence that his deck was going to see him through. I mean, Rob does have a lot of Blood Debt now. Does need to win this game here. Otherwise, he's going to die to Blood Debt. He's only got 2 health left. He's got a lot of cards that he doesn't really want to play out. Can he make
And
it
there's a
work?
Rip Through Reality, that's got Go Again. So where's he getting his Go Again from? He's got a card in Arsenal. He's got how many cards in hand? 3?
He popped with 1 card, so he's got 3 cards in hand.
3. Does he have the
The
resources?
Seething Shadows does allow him to give something Go Again, but it's a big resource cost to play it.
And there we see.
Can Rob do the
Catton.
damage needed here? It's a tricky one.
In the background there, you can see from the same pod, we have Jamie Faulkner versus Alex Chitu.
Yeah, playing in the background. Some of the best players here, but
7-0, both of them today. Spectacular.
yeah,
They're
Alex.
both
I
top.
think Alex Chitu
Oh no,
went
he lost
2-1
his
in
last
the
one,
spot,
so 6-1.
so, Rob needs to think about this really carefully. He might not actually be able to get over the top. He needs to do 4 damage because otherwise he's just dying to Blood Debt. He can't play all 5 of these cards around. Can he play 3 of them? He needs to play 4 of them. I don't think he can do that with 3 cards. It looks like a few of them are red as well. Maybe he can do something with this Belittle. What's he got in that arsenal?
I mean, he also needs to play a non-attack in order to be able to use the additional resources available on
minimalism, so he kind of needs to play that
Aether
out
Weave.
too.
Awkward.
I wonder if he should have popped the Ether Iron Weave and played the Shadow Vice last time, put Paul down on 2, or maybe forced another block from 2, so he blocked from Paul. Because if he was on 2, then maybe the Arcane, he could have been confident drawing into the Arcane damage to finish him off. But I'm not sure if he can now. Just wanted to get the Bounding Demagon out in case he couldn't. So he plays out the Shadow Vice to give something Go Again.
Okay.
And then this Bounding Demagon's going to come in for 3. Go Again. Requires 2 cards to do it.
And a lot of pitch.
Does have the Ether Iron Weave in the back to try and get over here. Paul's got a pretty awkward card in Blinding Beam Blue, which is basically a block 1. The rest of his hand does look good for blocking, though. So 10 potential block in this hand. Can't see the other 2 cards. I think one of them might have been a 2 block. Rob doesn't look happy.
No, he's not comfortable, is he? But also, by playing out
Good
these
point,
2
Matt.
cards as well, he's got his shadow, his
Yeah.
Aether Weave is turned on, right?
Thanks, Matt Duggan. Yeah, you are correct. 2 for 4, so ignore me. As always. Not enough, because he did shut down that Arcane, which is why the Rip wasn't worth it either. Couldn't have gone Rip into the... Could have gone... It would have been... If he'd done Arcane, it would have been Rip into Bounding Demagon. But no Arcane, meaning the Piercing Shadow Vice was no good. Power there of the Spell Void on the Illusionist Gloves.
So 2-2 apiece here, Trip. How...
Uses the Binding Beam there to reduce the damage to 2. 2 Go Again.
Who's in the driving seat here? Who is most comfortable? Or are both players very tense?
Both players are tense at this point. Because Rob doesn't know what's in Paul's hand, and Paul doesn't know what Rob's got in his arsenal. He's kept it there for a little while. You should never feel safe at this point. You need to think, what is What can I do to make sure that I survive this turn? Paul must be thinking, well, Rob's got 3 cards in the banish zone. Can he get rid of 2 of them and live on 1? And if he does, can I do something about it?
Also, Rob's now on 5 shackles. How many more cards does he have in his deck?
I think he's probably lost a fair number, but right now he's just thinking about getting out of this turn. He's probably not thinking about necessarily what I'm going to do about these shackles. He just needs to survive this turn or kill Paul. Those are the only 2 options he should be thinking about right now. Is like, how can I secure the win? Or how can I stop myself from dying to blood that? He needs to decide what he wants to go for.
6th shackle.
Comes in with a Galaxy Black for 3.
With go again.
Gonna force a block here. I think seeing that, Paul's got to feel a lot more comfortable now. Rob thinking to himself, maybe he's got a hand of all 2 blocks. Maybe I can do something here, but... And it's just going to finish with the 4. Paul's going to double block this and win the game. He's thinking, what am I missing?
Just do it.
I'm not missing anything, and I've won it, and that's it. Being able to shut that down, having enough block there, even though the Prism drew into some interesting cards when Rob was going off, he just hit a lot of junk at the end in his banish zone and wasn't able to play it out. Wasn't able to get that arcane damage in on the previous turn. Paul was able to use his Dreamweavers and the Spectral Shield he was being able to make from the fact that the previous Herald had hit, allowed him to shut down all the arcane damage on that turn, preventing Rob from being able to go wide enough with the Rip Through Reality that he did hit off the top. That
just came to
Rob Cadden just dying to Blood Debt there, not being able to play out enough cards to live on 1, and not being able to play enough damage to actually kill Paul in that turn. And that just was all she wrote at the end of it. Was not able to secure the win there, and Paul was able to just block out, effectively leaving Rob to die from Blood Debt. And there was nothing the chain player could do.
Yeah, and that's, as you said, that's all she wrote. But that's just part and parcel, isn't it, of playing these shadow heroes in this format. Is that ultimately, if you can't kill your opponent, sometimes it's your Blood Debt that comes back to bite you.
Yeah, because you've got to run some of these. It looked like Rob... The deck quality was nowhere near as good as he had in the previous draft. He was hitting some very odd cards off the top with his
Not a lot
banishes. of seeds. We saw a couple of seeds. I think we saw so many in the last game. We just thought, well, that's not the normal number of seeds you get in a draft. Which is, especially in the last game, there was 2 chains as well. It just wasn't enough. And just wasn't able to push the go wide to go over the top of Prism. It is normally a pretty tough game chain into Prism because Prism can block so well.
And block that arcane damage that stops the go wide attack.
And reliefs as well do a lot of work to help you out with essentially being a card that blocks for 4 when they're banishing more than 3 cards. And we did see Paul make a little mistake early where they blocked with 1 when they thought they were blocking for 4 and they had to block with 2 cards. It didn't cost them the game. He was able to get back into it, but it was just being able to control Rob's game plan. Rob was not able to get the damage free that he needed. Maybe thinking, I'll come round to the invert existence, maybe get the win with that.
Yeah.
But not enough.
Thank you very much to everybody who's been participating in the chat for us, showing Baz an awful lot of love. Very much appreciate that. But we are going to wrap up here on round 8. We're going to have a quick interview between Baz and Paul there. And we will be back with you.
We've got one more game today, so please stay around, see all the games out today. We've got one more to come. And then we'll be wrapping for today, and then we'll be coming back tomorrow morning with 6 rounds of Classic Constructed. So we will see you very shortly. Goodbye.
Hi, welcome back to the UK Nationals, Leeds Royal Armoury. I'm Baz the Bard. Paul, well done.
Thank you very much.
Well done. That was tense.
It was. Rob's an exceptional player, so knowing how much pressure is in this pod, even trying to push into, say, day 2 and then also to hopefully get you the prize or a top 8 placement, hopefully. That's the dream. I had to really put it out of the bag, and it was a really, really good game, and I just managed to see what I needed to sort of fatigue to the point where
it must have been quite nice when he was. I mean, we've seen sort of like Nathan Hills. He plays his chains completely different. He doesn't really shackle. But sort of like Rob really goes for the shackles. And at the end, when he pulled all those cards that went into his blood deck, you must have been quite happy to go. Well, he can't play all them out.
Yeah, I was at 4 health, and I thought, it's going to be one of those ones where I've only got 3 cards I can actually block, so I have to really taper what I block. And yeah, when I realised that he had 5, he had a couple that he could play out. He only had maybe 1 or 2 go again, so it would leave him. I just needed to literally block out, not die, and the Blood Debt would do the rest for me. So yeah.
You played the Spectral Shields at the right time. You blocked. He had quite a big turn where he was coming in with arcane damage.
Yeah.
You blocked them out to stop him getting go again on that rip through reality, and you were just like, oh my god, right,
Yeah.
okay, I'm kind of shutting that turn down.
Yeah.
You were still able to present stuff.
Yes.
I thought there was going to be a turn when he popped with that with the Lunar Tide Plunderer.
Yes.
He popped your Ravages because you brought that back with the Rebirth, and
Yeah.
even your face were like, that might have been the one. But
Yeah.
I mean, you played that so well.
You just have to hope for the best. In any card game it's part luck. No matter how skilled you are, I'm not saying I'm skilled. I'm not being boasty, but
Yeah, but there's
I'm not
people
the
who-
greatest player. I've been very lucky today, and but I put a lot of effort in and a lot of practice, so it's showing. So it's
Yeah,
great.
but you say, yeah, I'm lucky, but you put practice in.
I put practice
You know
in,
what I mean?
but
yeah.
there's always RNG that you can't control, so it's just risk management at the end of the day, isn't it? So yeah.
But it's knowing what to block and when to block.
Yes.
And when to present.
Yes.
And that's what playing all the time gives you.
Yeah, exactly. And to be honest, I used to be terrible. I used to be such a greedy player. I still am. But the guys from the Newcastle community will tell you that obviously.
Chris
That's
is saying it, yeah.
They'll tell you that yeah. I used to turn him on and be like, I want to keep my hands. I'll give him my equipment. And I'm just like, what are you doing? So I've decided to put an conscious effort in to just not be stupid. To be honest, but that's basically
Yeah,
it.
but the
So-
results, like from the meta report, I'm seeing your name now in top 4s. You know what I mean? You did really well at Middlesbrough. in the last skirmish.
skirmishes. I love the game, and I like variety, and I hate fatigue. Honestly, you're monstrosities if you like fatigue. Honestly, but yeah, I like aggro, and
Well, you play Rhino.
I play in Rhino. To be honest, you can't. Yeah,
But you're not playing Rhino today, are you?
no.
No. What are you playing?
So on CC, I'm playing Briar, one final send off, but not again, none of that fatigue stuff. I'm playing full on aggro. Went 3-0 in CC Swiss, and it's really paid off again. I've played the deck since way back, and I invested back when the Amsterdam calling was meant to happen, and COVID happened. So I've had a yearning to just really see her off properly this time around. So it's doing well. So massive thanks to everybody who's supported us along the way.
One more round of draft,
Yeah.
and everybody can go and hit the restaurants and wherever they want to be.
Yeah, sleep for me, I think.
All the very best.
Thanks, Baz.
Nice. Stay tuned. Last round, round 9, will be coming up soon. Okay, thank you.